Hello.
Hello, hi, how are ya? Trying to get to the couch. Things are a little wonky.
Oh, if you see a little baby hand, it's a baby.
It's the baby!
Ugh. Also, don't mind the blanket.
Oh, please tell me there's no logo showing. There's not.
I realized that I was wearing a shirt that had my works logo on it, and I didn't feel like changing, so I put a blanket on.
That part. So, hi. Welcome back to another episode of the Boss Ravioli Queens with your two favorite caregivers, Nicole Ravioli.
Boss Lady Amy.
So as we stated, we were gonna redo our old episodes the way we want to do them. Not that they weren't technically the way we wanted to do them the first time, we just feel like they're gonna be better now.
Yeah.
So, welcome to yet another series. I wouldn't even call this a mini-series. It's just a series.
Yeah, it's just the new format.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, so the first episode we ever recorded was called Caregivers, Ins, Outs, and Roundabouts. Yours truly came up with that one. This is gonna be called, what the heck did I just say?
Caregiving, Ins, Outs, and Roundabouts.
The remix. The remix. Jesus. I didn't sleep well. I had a staff meeting this morning already. Like, it's been a day. Here we are. And I was late because of a train. Here we are. So, originally, we had talked about Suzanne Harris. She started the FCA, which otherwise known as the Family Caregiver Association. Alliance. Why did I say it? Okay. All right. The FCA. In 1977, she started it. And she started it because her husband got really sick, and she had to take care of him. She was the sole caregiver, and it was really, really hard on her. In the OG video, or not video, but the OG episode, because at that point we weren't recording video, it was just sound, only. And it was not fun because of that stupid app that I had to use to edit all the episodes. That was dumb. Any hoozles. She was the sole caregiver for her husband. It was really hard on her. She needed help from literally every angle because there's like obviously the medical side of things, but then you also have financial and legal. Which financial and legal kind of tie in together, but yeah. So the FCA now like regulates caregiving. Yeah. They came up with like all of the rules and regulations and things to protect us as caregivers as well.
I don't want her face on camera, so I'm just gonna try and keep her head the back. Y'all can see the back of her head.
Solid.
Yeah. So basically, at the time, there was no regulations for anything. There was no sort of structure for home health or anything like that. It was all each facility or company or what have you ran on their own. They all followed their own rules. There was no set of guidelines that they had to follow. So now the FCA regulates all that, and they help people find the help that they need to take care of their loved ones.
Yeah. Like, I know personally, like in our state, we have a couple different programs where you can get paid as a family member to take care of your family member. So there's that side of things, but then also they can help you find like home health care if you can't take care of your loved one on your own. There's so many resources out there now. So I'm thankful for Suzanne because honestly, she's the reason I got a job right now, and also the reason that people can find care easier now.
I know it's the FCA, but every time I just wanna, I get that that stimmy itch,
to call it.
And I just think the fellas at the freaking FCC.
Oh boy. That actually never crossed my mind. So thanks for that new one.
It's the fellas at the freaking FCC.
Okay. So in the OG episode, we also did like introductions and said how long we've been doing caregiving and what made us get into it. So, I guess I'll go first. Hi, Nicole Ravioli here. So I've now been caregiving for 11 years. And the reason that I initially got into it, number one, is because I helped my mom take care of my grandpa, which was her dad, when he was unaliving due to cancer. So watching her take care of him and helping her take care of him gave me, at the time I was like 13, that gave me like a new perspective on things. And also my mom was a CNA for a really long time too. So I would go to work with her sometimes because she did home health, but she also worked at a facility that was solely for hospice patients. So yeah, my mom's like my friggin' hero. Shout out Mama Ravioli. Thank you. Love you. Yeah, that's why I started caregiving. And because I do have like a lot of love to give for a lot of people. I care a lot about other people.
Yes, she does.
Even though I hate most people.
Huh. Yeah, relatable.
Alright, that's me.
So before I do my introduction, I wanted to just say really quick. I think it's been a while since we've re-explained our name.
Oof, yeah.
Yeah, so the reason why we're called the Boss Ravioli Queens, so initially, you know, I've been in management for a long time, and so a lot of my staff would call me Boss Lady. And then it kind of just stuck. And
I used to be, so like back in high school, a nickname that my friends gave me was Nicole Macaroni. So, I rebranded to Nicole Ravioli a couple years ago, and that one also just stuck. So, that's where Ravioli comes from. And as for Queens, for the rebrand, Boss Lady Amy and myself are Queens.
We are Queens.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But originally, Jasmine was our third host of the podcast, and she was a drag queen. Mm-hmm. So that's where Queens came in.
Yep. And then we decided we were going to spill ravioli because caregiving is too messy to spill tea.
Yeah. So we're going to spill all the sauce instead.
Yep. So we spill the sauce because we sure as heck clean it up.
We sure do.
Yeah, so that's our name. But anyway, so yeah, I got into caregiving. I have been doing caregiving for 10 years. It'll be 10 years in October. And yeah, you know, I honestly didn't think that I was going to stay in it. I really thought that it was going to be just like a
stepping stone.
A stepping stone, exactly. But there wasn't many places in the town that I grew up in that was hiring minors. In fact, it was really, really, really hard to find places in caregiving that were hiring minors. And so originally I was working at a restaurant. I had worked there from when I was 15 up until I was 17. And then I found a job in the caregiving world, but I wasn't allowed to touch the residents. It was called a healthcare aide, and so basically it was like you go around and you fill their waters and you bring ice trays down from the kitchen and
snacks.
Yep, snacks. I passed snack. I would grab their laundry. I just kind of did everything that the CNAs really needed a lot of help with.
Did they let you help with activities too?
No, because they had an activities department for that. But it was my job to bring people to and from scheduled activities.
Fair.
Yeah. And then also too, they had a rec area, which I was allowed to go in and like play games and do puzzles and things like that with them. And that was always kind of fun. But anyway, so I started working there up until I was shortly after I turned 18. And then, so that was like an actual nursing home, and so I couldn't do anything without a...
You really couldn't do anything.
Yeah, I couldn't
Nursing
do
homes are
anything
bad.
without a certificate, and I wasn't really sure if I wanted to get my CNA or whatever at the time. So I ended up taking a night shift job at a assisted living. So there you can do everything that the CNAs can do, and it doesn't have to be, you don't have to have any sort of certifications or whatever. You can just work there. And that's really where I learned how to do everything. Because I worked nights, there wasn't a lot of stuff to do. So I got really good at learning how to clean, because trust me, there is a way to clean properly, and you learn it working night shift, because there's not much to do. Another thing that I had to do was I had to make a baked good every night, and so I got really good at baking.
That was the equivalent of cutting up fruit for me. So dumb.
Except it was fun, because I actually got really good at it.
Okay, well yours was definitely fun. Cutting up fruit like grapes into bite-sized pieces is crazy. Why?
What I didn't like was that we had to make up all the juice and water trays for the next day. That was annoying, because we had to put them, like, they had to be arranged in a certain order. And God forbid if you screwed up the order and how you put them in the fridge. Oh, you didn't hear the end of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was fun. But oh, another thing too was the way I peeled potatoes apparently was incorrect most of the time.
Okay.
Because a lot of the times what I would do is I would, when I would cut the spuds or the bad spots off or whatever, often our cook would tell me that I didn't cut them deep enough. And so basically the potato was like still infected. But yeah, so those are the kind of like nitpicky things that you learn about in those environments. Like everything really does have to be perfect, and if it's not, you will hear about it.
Yeah, there's definitely, so like depending on the type of facility you work in and also how strict they are, because obviously like there's places that are a little more lax with drinks being arranged a certain way or like whatever. Sometimes you can get away with like small, like super minuscule errors. Other places, everything is to a T. It needs to be this way every single day. It doesn't matter if you're new or not, and if you are new, you're gonna learn real quick when nobody lets you live it down. Cause dang.
Yeah. Yeah. I got in huge trouble one time because, so there was this doll that this one lady had, and she was always like chewing on it all the time, and my boss told me to sanitize it, and I'm like, okay, well, it can't go in the washer, like, even if I wash it with soap or whatever, like, I don't know how you want me to sanitize it. So then I'm like thinking about it, and I was like, well, I could put it in like the dish sanitizer thing. So oftentimes facilities will have the dish washer and then they have a dish sanitizer. So sanitizer is like the second go around. So after the dishes get done and washed, then you put them into the sanitizer.
There's like the trays that have like all the spikes on them or whatever, and you can set dishes on it, push it in. And then the sanitizer thing has like a door kind of that you push down. And then you turn it on, it goes for however long, and then when it's done it automatically opens, I think. And it gets like really, really, really hot. And it doesn't... It's definitely sanitized. It doesn't just wash the dishes, it literally sanitizes them. There's like a special solution that you put in there and whatever. So anyway, I put the doll in there because I was like, you know what? It's gonna work. And my boss wrote me up because she was like, yeah, so you contaminated the dishes. And I was like, but how would I contaminate the dishes if the machine literally sanitizes? Like, it cleans itself. The solution that you pour in there, it's not like it goes away with each wash. It cleans itself. Yeah.
So yeah, I learned really fast that you can't really break routine like that in places where it runs like a ship because, yeah. Anyway, we got way off topic.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It's good.
But yeah, so, excuse me. Anyway, so I was working nights. That didn't work out too well for me because I was going to school at the time for nursing, and that would be one of 3 times that I dropped out of college because mental health. That's a different story for a different day. But anyway, it was really hard to keep up with the fact that I was going to school all day long and then working all night long. Because by the time I got out of class, it was like 3 in the afternoon, and then I worked at 11. So by the time I was actually getting to sleep, it would be like 4 or 5. And yeah, it wasn't great. So that didn't work out. So I just kept working, and I was like, you know what? It'll be okay. I'll figure it out one day. I'll get it together. I'll go back to school eventually. I did, and then I didn't. And then I did again, and then I didn't again. And honestly, that's okay. And I'm gonna go on a tangent for 2 seconds. There's nothing wrong with not going to school. There's nothing wrong with not knowing what the heck you're doing with your life. And at the time when I was 18, and I thought that I had to have everything figured out, and it turns out that I had nothing figured out, and that was perfectly fine. It's totally okay. And honestly, I decided that when I go back to school, it'll be when my kids are more self-sufficient, and also, I will probably have to transition jobs because I will probably have to work in a place where I cannot commit a lot of my brain power to my work because I have to make sure that I dedicate that to school, and that's fine. I'm not worried about it. I'm working. I'm living my best life, raising my kids.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's the end of that tangent.
I still want to go back to school for social work. I just don't know when at this point.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen eventually.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you have to be in the right frame of mind. I really thought that I could just like push through and pretend that I was in the right frame of mind, and then eventually everything would fall into place. Didn't happen.
You were doing the fake it till you make it thing.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
tried it 3 times, didn't happen.
It only works sometimes.
Yeah.
It does work.
Yeah, college was not one of those times that worked.
No.
You would think that I would have learned after the second time, but you know, I had to go back for round 3.
Okay, back to the ins and outs of caregiving.
Yeah. So
Holy
anyway,
man.
been doing this for 10 years. Been around the block. Yeah.
Quite a few times. So for those of you that don't know this about me, I am a multifaceted caregiver. I am a jack of all trades because literally I've done it all, except for working in an actual hospital because I also used to have my CNA. So I've done behavioral, I've done nursing home, I've done assisted living, and then I've done the CBRFs and AFHs. Shnikes. Here we go. Community-based residential facility is CBRF, and AFH is adult family home.
Mm-hmm.
And the difference is, in an adult family home, you can only have a max of 4 residents. Anything above that is considered a CBRF. So a lot of CBRFs that you run into will house like 8 people, but also the assisted living side of things where you have 15 to 20 to however many. There are really big ones and really small ones. Those usually house, I don't know, 30 at max.
Yeah, I was gonna say usually, unless you go to like a place that has like
A memory
multiple
care unit.
units,
Mm-hmm.
because like I did work in a 60-bed CBRF before,
Same.
but I've also worked in a 30-bed CBRF, which is pretty average.
Yeah.
So I would say, if you encounter a company that has like different types of facilities, if they're houses, like if they're the residential sort of setting, you're going to find that it's probably not going to be more than 8.
Mm-hmm.
If it's like an actual building, it's probably going to average about 30.
Yep. The last assisted living that I worked at was only a 15 bed. But that's pretty rare to find anything less than like 30. So there's that. But it was also in a small town. So the other assisted living that I worked at was one that had the multiple different units. So we had like, what was it? West Wing, East Wing, and then memory care.
Yep. Yeah, like when I worked at the 60 bed, we had like a, we had like the, what's the word? More like higher needs people. So we had like the higher needs people.
High acuity, right?
Yeah, high acuity. Yep. And then we had like the, like lower needs people, like they didn't need as much. And then we had a locked unit for memory care. I think that was it. And then I think they tried to like keep like the Hoyers and the lifts and stuff like mostly on one side. If you don't know what that is, lifts, they're just mechanical lifts. It assists people who don't or they can't like walk or transfer themselves. So there's the sit to stand, which is, it doesn't actually lift you in the air. It just assists you with sitting and standing up.
Yeah, that part.
And then there is the Hoyer.
Did you see the meme I posted about Hoyers yesterday?
No.
Can lift a 600-pound person, but can't run over a zip tie. They can't. Dude, the Hoyer lifts get stuck on everything.
They will literally tip
Oh,
before rolling over something.
literally.
Which is wild. But anyway, it lifts you up in the air. So those are for people that cannot bear any sort of weight at all.
I suppose we should kind of probably explain it a little better, because it sounds like they're just holding on for dear life while it's lifting in the air.
Yeah.
So there's a full body sling that you put underneath them. It's got loopies on the top and the bottom on both sides, and usually they're colored. Jesus. Usually they're color coded. So like it's, what is it? Black, purple, green, blue.
Yeah. I think that's pretty standard. Because I know some of the slings, they'll have their own colors, but for the most part, that's pretty standard.
Yeah, I've seen like blue, yellow, green, red, I think too.
Yeah,
but the
I've
standard
ones
are black, purple, green, blue.
Yeah.
Usually blue is the tightest that you can get it, and black is the loosest. So on the top, if you're sitting them in a chair, you want to go tightest on top and loosest on bottom, so they're in a sitting position already when you get them in their chair. If you're putting them back to bed, go black on all sides, because you're just going to lay them down. Yeah, so Hoyers though, not necessarily fun, but as long as you have two people, fairly easy.
Yeah. It's really not bad. I think we talked about like the regulation for those and things, so we could definitely cover that in another episode.
We did. There's a whole episode where we covered lifts and like other minuscule parts of the job.
Well, stay tuned for that episode then.
Yeah.
Because as we said before, we're literally revamping everything. We are going through one by one, listening to each episode, and redoing it our way.
Yeah. So I believe in the OG episode, well, there was the line about Melvin and peanut butter and all the things. So if you haven't listened to that episode, it was, hang on, Melvin, I'll be right there to wipe the peanut butter out your crack. Just gotta pick up my $11 paycheck real fast. So while it's a joke, it's also very much not. It's very true. Because we do have to wipe people's booties, and sometimes it be looking like peanut butter. It's not great. It's not great, but it's the reality of the job.
I know.
And we also don't get paid enough for what we do. It's a very high demand on your body and your brain for a very low wage.
Yeah. Have you ever seen that meme on Facebook where it was like, if people are getting $15 an hour to flip burgers, CNAs can get $15 an hour to flip your grandma.
Yeah, I did see that.
Which is so true. And I mean, obviously, like, you don't want to look down upon anybody's job because, I mean, you know, working in fast food, that's really hard too. But at the same time, it's not...
People's lives are in our hands.
Yeah, it's not the same type of toll that it takes on your body.
No.
Working in fast food does take a toll on your body and your mental health, but not in the same way as caregiving does.
Right.
And I think that you should be paid more for that.
Well, on top of that, like I just said, we're literally in charge of people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if we mess up a med, it can literally unalive somebody. You have to know your things when you're working in caregiving, or any medical profession, really. I mean, the worst that's going to happen if you mess up a burger, as long as it's not someone with allergies, is they're going to complain.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we could literally unalive people doing what we do.
Yeah.
And there's also, like, if someone's not hooked up right in the Hoyer, they could literally drop out of it. So that's also a very large thing. Like, if you're not a good caregiver and you don't pay attention to little details like the sling being hooked up right, because if it's one color on the top and your coworker, let's say you're putting blue on the top, so that's the tightest one, and then your coworker does like black on the other side and then blue on the bottom or whatever, like, it literally can tip somebody out of the sling.
Mm-hmm. It's almost happened to me before.
Yeah, it's wild. So
it's scary.
On top of that, we also cook for these people, we clean for them, we do their laundry, we make their beds, we shower them, we get them from point A to point B if we don't have transportation available, we take them to appointments, we bring them back home, we're there when they're sick, we see them more than we see our own homes, and generally we're understaffed and underpaid.
Yeah.
So, and actually that was one of the main reasons that we started this podcast to begin with, is because we wanted to advocate for people like us.
Mm-hmm. Because that's the thing, is like there's so much help out there for residents. They have so many different, you know...
They have resources upon resources.
Resources and all kinds of things. But it's kind of like, who's looking out for us?
Us.
Yeah.
Literally us. We're looking out for us and them. Because while we do have to advocate for our residents, that's a huge part of our job. Like, if you noticed how somebody's getting mistreated either at like a program that they go to during the day, so like some of our residents go to work, they do like little side jobs, like I know there's cutlery that they have to put together with like rings on it,
silverware.
Yeah, stuff like that. And then other people go to like day service programs. As we all know, Boss Lady Amy runs our day service, so she can talk to you more about that in another episode. Because I know we did do an episode that was kind of based around that, but it wasn't as in-depth as I think you wanted it to be.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that down the line.
That's the mantra for most of these episodes, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, advocating for your residents, whether it be in the home, at a medical appointment, if there's a medical emergency and you see like the EMTs or the ER doctor isn't treating them right. It's very much obviously resident based, but again, who's going to take care of us? Who's going to look after the caregivers? Because quite honestly, I just found out at the meeting today that I worked like 60 some odd hours last week. In 1 week. I've done more in the past because I was in management. Amy has done more because she's also been in management, and it's friggin' exhausting. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't tell you how good I felt yesterday to not only not have to wake up early, but also to not have to go to work. Like, today is also my day off, but I still had to go in for the staff meeting. And while I didn't have to, like, perform any resident cares, it's still, like, I literally had one day off and I had to be there for a freaking hour.
Right. It's still, like, mentally exhausting.
Yeah.
You know, I want to say my first, like, real wake-up moment of, like, oh, yeah, caregivers don't make enough. So, when I can't remember if I had turned 18 yet or if I was still 17. But I remember getting my first paycheck at the place that we were working. And I was making $10 an hour. And that was huge for me because my previous job, which was, again, that restaurant, was $7.25 an hour. And so that was crazy for me. And I remember getting my check and it was like...
pennies.
Yeah, it was... I don't even know how much it was. I can't remember.
It was probably like 400, 500.
Yeah, something like that. And I remember talking to my coworker who was, like, I want to say 20s, 30s. She was married, trying to have a family. She didn't have kids yet, but I know that her husband and her were trying. And I was like, oh my god, I got my first paycheck. It was huge. And she was like, really? And I was like, yeah. Was yours good? And she was like, it was like 600. And I was like, that's awesome. And she was like,
no, it's not.
no.
No, it's not.
And I was like, what? I was like, what do you mean? What? And she was like, well, after we pay bills, it's like nothing. She was like, thank God for my husband's income, otherwise we'd be broke. And I was like, what? Like, how? Excuse? I don't get it. So that was like my first, like, I remember just walking away from that conversation feeling so,
She doing the thing.
like, stupid and naive. Like, okay, I have no idea how the real world works. And yeah, I felt really bad because, like, knowing that my coworkers who were much older than me and had a lot more experience were making the same amount as me was crazy.
Sorry. Baby doing uncontrollable muscle movements and her head just... whoop.
Oh, my friend. I'm just gonna pop her up. It's fine.
Alright.
Yeah, so that was like my first real experience with that. And then I remember when I got my second caregiving job, and because I was working nights, I had that sweet shift premium. So I was making $10.75 an hour, which was at the time it was like,
that was great money.
Yeah. It was crazy. I thought I was rolling in it. But I was not. So
Honestly, I think my first caregiving job, I started at like $9.25 an hour. And eventually I worked my way up to like $10.50.
Oh, and I also have to point out, $10 at the time was competitive.
Yeah.
At the time, most caregiving jobs were between like 8 and 9.
Yeah.
10 was if you were incredibly lucky. The only reason that I was even getting paid, quote unquote, so much was because it was a state-run facility. And those do, since it was a nursing home,
It pays way better.
yeah, those do have excellent benefits. And they pay really well, but that's because they pay you for the headache.
Yeah. It's not great.
Yeah.
I believe in the OG episode we also touched on the Caregiver Bible of HIPAA.
We did.
HIPAA stands for the Health Information Portability and Accountability Act. How do I know that? 11 years.
Yeah.
It's been 11 years of that being drilled into my flippin' head. So HIPAA protects any sort of medical information that you have, also personal information if you're living in a facility. So like, if one of my residents, we'll say Joe.
Joe Schmo.
Joe's birthday is January 30th, 1972. I can't go over to Amy and be like, hey, Joe's birthday is coming up. Number one, you said his name. Number two, you just gave up his date of birth. Can't do that. Also, if somebody, like, gets hurt, oh, did you hear Joe fell the other day? If they don't need to know it, like, if Joe is not a day service resident and Amy doesn't need to know that information, I can't say it.
Nope.
That's a violation of HIPAA, and that's actually not only a terminable offense, but you can also get a huge fine and I believe jail time if they so choose.
Yep. And it applies to employees as well.
Mm-hmm.
You can never, if an employee or a fellow staff member or coworker comes to you and is like, hey, I gotta take this day off because I'm having a procedure for whatever. You can't turn around and be like, oh, did you hear so-and-so is taking the day off because they're having a procedure? That is a violation of sharing health information.
Yep.
And you can actually get fired for that.
Yep.
I have known people who got in trouble for that, and then I also had known people who have had it happen to them, and then they ended up getting somebody fired because of it.
Yeah. It's a thing.
Yeah. So you can't do that.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. And if you really feel like you're itching to gossip about it, I don't know, say it out loud. Speak it to the wind or something.
Something. Just don't tell another person.
Yeah. Because there's been plenty of times where I'm like, this is such good gossip that I can't share with anybody.
Nobody.
Or sometimes, like, if you're talking to, like, your significant other or something, and obviously they don't know anything about where you work, you could always change the names to, like, X or whatever.
Yeah.
But you definitely can't share any, like, pertinent health information.
You can also just say my resident.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had a resident fall today. It really sucked. Like...
Right. Like, you're allowed to talk about your day, but you can't be like, oh, yeah.
Joe Schmo fell today.
Joe Schmo. Yeah, like, he was doing this, and then it caused him to fall, and then Mary screamed, and yeah, like, you can't.
Yeah, you can't do that. Even when your life literally feels like a sitcom episode.
It really does. You know, I talk to my coworkers
There are
often.
days.
I talk to my coworkers often about that. How we could come up with the best TV dramedy.
Dramedy.
It would be.
It's accurate. Also, the other Bible of caregiving. If you didn't chart it, it didn't happen.
It isn't documented. It didn't happen.
So that can be anything as small as so-and-so had a bowel movement today because we have to chart on that. Or again, incident reports for like seizures or falls or elopements. Crap. Eloping. Definition. Resident wanders away from the facility either intentionally or unintentionally.
We'll get into stories about that if you haven't watched or listened to previous episodes.
So many.
Also, I have to say, document the frickin' bowel movements. Oh my god. I can't even tell you how many times I've encountered a situation where somebody's like, well, they're getting Miralax today because there's nothing documented. Like, no, they just pooped yesterday. Well, it's not in their chart, so have fun.
Yup. Also, suppositories. Suppositories are a thing. If you don't know what a suppository is, it's a waxy little pill-looking thing that you have to put in somebody's butthole. And you have to go, like, a knuckle deep. And it's awful. For them and you. So if you're not documenting people's poops, there are PRNs that we have to give them, whether they be pill or suppository. Something's gonna come out. And if they don't actually need it, a lot is gonna come out. A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. A lot.
And then you have those people that you literally just dose them with everything they can possibly have and they still don't poop. And you're like, how?
Yeah.
What is happening?
Yeah.
Is there really anything else? I feel like we spent a lot of this time rambling.
We did.
But it's okay, because it's our way. It's our rambles.
It's our rambles. And not only that, but it's still hella informational. Like, if you're a brand new caregiver and you happen to watch this episode, we just told you more than 75% of what your job is going to be.
Yeah, and it's so true, because depending on who trains you, you could either get a really, really good trainer, or you could get somebody that doesn't give a single poop about their job, and you could end up learning really bad habits that you didn't even know were bad habits.
Mm-hmm.
And then people will laugh at you and they'll be like, oh, of course so-and-so told you to do it that way. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's also a thing that we'll get into in a later episode, because I'm pretty sure we talked about that too.
Oh yeah, the mean girls of the caregiving world.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why, but so many people who are just mean get into caregiving. It's like,
Not even just mean, but like cliquey, gossipy
yeah.
people. It's gross. It's really
I don't get
gross.
it.
And if you're gonna gossip, do it to someone you know is not gonna say anything. Like someone you don't work with, probably. Like a best friend. Like a best friend. Except we do work together, kind of, sort of, still.
Yeah.
Either way, again, make sure it's someone that's not going to repeat what you said, because when that goes around, it goes around. And it's like playing telephone, where the story gets misconstrued a billion different ways from Sunday. Like,
Yeah, that's the worst.
It's not good.
Like, especially a coworker that you thought you could trust.
mm-hmm.
You can't.
Nope.
Nope. You can't.
I trust no one except you.
Yeah. Okay. I realized we didn't do the shameless plug today, but that's okay, because I feel like most of the episode was kind of doing the shameless plug.
It really was.
Which, honestly, you might find some episodes for a while without the shameless plug, just because we're already going over everything, revamping it all, so
Yeah.
I guess
I'll
stick
still
with
do
us.
the thing, though.
Yeah. Stick with us on the journey, find out where we go.
We go in places.
Julie,
Do the thing! You can find us on Facebook and TikTok at Boss Ravioli Queens. You can also email us, bossravioliqueens@gmail.com. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you want to get notified every single time we post a new episode. And also, please leave us comments, thoughts, concerns, kudos. It doesn't matter if they're negative, because you're just boosting our engagement. So even if they are negative, go ahead. Don't care. Boost.
Unbothered.
Unbothered. Yeah. So until next time, mini raviolis. Bye.
Bye.
Forgot to grab the thing. Bye.